Hello, hello, hello. It's your new day with Donna Reiners and Dr. Cami Owen, where we solve all the world's problems, or maybe just one. And maybe it's yours. In our 30 minutes, we talk about your emotions and mind and how they tie into your body and spirit. We want you to renew and restore yourself in a world that wants you crazy. And sometimes we even talk about money. Introducing your hosts, Donna Reiners and Dr. Cami Owen. Hello, hello. This is Donna.
Dr. Cami.
And we're glad to be here again. And today's episode is called Let's Get Personal. Sorry, that's the wrong song, but you get my point. And I was just pondering on what to do in this segment, and I thought about how we've talked about everything under the sun, really. And I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to find out more about how our faith works, meaning our belief system, and then how we grow and that kind of thing. And so Cami grew up in a Baptist house, a Church of Christ household.
Yep.
And the Church of Christ, from what I understand, they can have lots of supernatural giftings, but they really are more like, this is what it says, and this is what we do, and this is what we memorize, and that kind of thing. So it's very kind of clear on the boundaries that are represented, which is true in a lot of things. But then Cami met someone who changed everything for her, and it moved into a different direction. And so, Cami, what was it like okay, so your questions are, knowing what you grew up in, what you believed or didn't believe is beside the point, because I know how I grew up, and my belief was very different than what I was hearing and seeing in my home. And then when you met James, which is her husband, who is lovely, by the way. Her husband is just precious. And her husband has helped me a couple of times with some things that spiritually that I was asking questions about. And I'm like, ding, 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 that is right. That's just what God would say to me. Thank you so much. But y'all met what time? What age?
Freshman in college. So
your early 20s?
I think actually I had my 21st birthday with him.
Okay, so you grew up as a Baptist girl.
No, Church of Christ.
Church. I don't know why I put them together. I think they're because of the law.
Let me start there.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wouldn't say I grew up in the Church of Christ, because the reality is we never went to church.
Oh, good. Okay.
We actually never went to church. The only time I recall going to church as a child was with my grandparents, who were Pentecostal. And that's a whole experience there, going to Pentecostal church.
That's a lot. That's fun, though.
Yes, because my grandfather and grandparents, my grandmother they were such kind people. My papa, what I call him, my papa, was, I think, if there was
your dad's dad,
my mom's dad. My mom's dad.
All right.
My papa was someone that, I guess if you could say, if an angel embodied a human, it would be my papa. It really was. I never heard that man raise his voice to anyone.
Wow. He
came from horrific trauma and just was the kindest, most loving soul.
Was he passive aggressive or just loving?
No, he was not passive aggressive at all.
That's awesome.
Now, did he do little things because my grandmother, I loved her too, but she was a different kind of personality. She was very domineering. She was she had a real flexible relationship with the truth. Real flexible relationship.
I love the way you said that. I'm going to use that line.
But I really, like, in her heart and soul, they were both super kind people.
Awesome.
So, but my grandfather, they also were on a journey for their religion, because they were Mormon for a long time, Then he was a Pentecostal preacher for a long time. I never saw him preach or anything. I just always was told he was a Pentecostal preacher, but I never heard of him actually having a church or anything like that. That's just...
Was he United Pentecostal or was he Pentecostal?
I have no idea. I actually have no idea. I was a little kid, and I thought it was fun to go to church because people would act a little crazy, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It didn't frighten me at all. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then the other experience of going to a place was Baptist Vacation Bible School. That I would do that.
They did do VVS really well.
Yes, and we'd make our little macrame and learn the books of the Bible and all that kind of stuff. But that's about my experience of going to church. And until I was but my dad was always very scriptural. He can recite the Bible. He knows the Bible as well or better than any Bible scholar. And he sits around, that's what he does in his time now, is he sits around and writes articles about subjects on the Bible that people talk to him about. And he goes, that's a good subject, and he'll write. And you would probably enjoy his writings. I have them, you know. I used to edit them for him when I had time, because he had a 9th grade education, so spelling is not his forte, but he's a genius IQ. Both of my parents have a genius IQ. Both of my parents do. I don't know what happened to me, but anyway, both of my parents have a genius IQ, and my brother was the same. He had a genius IQ. But you know, growing up, as I got older, when I was a young kid, I was also very attracted to the supernatural. When I was a little kid, very attracted to that.
That's because we just left it.
I know.
It was still fresh in our minds.
Yes, it was. and I was one of those children that just knew things. And at 7, 8 years old, I had friends that were in their 30s. Like some of the moms around the neighborhood. I would go and sit and talk, and I'd talk to them about their financial problems and their marital problems and all kind of things, you know, that I had zero business talking about, because I had no, in this practical wisdom, but I had wisdom. I really did. And then I was always the for the underdog. So if there was a couple of bullies in the neighborhood, I would go in on the behalf of the bullyee. You know, I would fight for them. But as a general rule, we all the friends were good friends, and we all played.
Where'd you go to college anyway?
University of Texas. I went to U of H for a little bit, University of Houston. That's actually where I met James. We'll get there. But I have 3 degrees from University of Texas. Okay. So that's where I ended up actually going and graduating.
So your parents lived here, you went here, and then you went to UT.
No, I went to UT here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to UT here. Health Science Centers for my undergraduate in the medical field.
How old were you when you met James?
I believe I was 20, because if memory serves.
Where'd you meet him? Like, what were y'all doing?
Oh, that's a fun story.
What's the...
So, well, I wanted to finish up with my upbringing. So I was my dad would, you know, when I was a kid, I was a very free-spirited child, but I was also a very compliant child. And my mom always says you could stick me in a corner with a doll, and I would sit there and play with it all by myself and be fine. And I remember playing Barbies all by myself. You know, I was fine all by myself, but I was also loved to play with other children. But as I got older, and I'm sure my dad was just trying to make sure I didn't go off the deep end and end up pregnant, or, you know, those kind of things. He would come and show me in the Bible, you know, where, you know,
thou shalt not,
and if you do, you're a rottenness in your husband's gut. If you're not clean and pure before you get married. And all that. So, you know, that just put a little taste in my mouth about all that. And I used to always...
That took away your freedom, and you knew to be free when you were young.
I did. And also just the way that God was portrayed to me as this, you better be looking at me and obey. And also, as a kid, I remember thinking, God's pretty insecure. I remember saying that to my dad one time. God seems pretty insecure to me, because what I was hearing in the way I was being taught is God's all about, look at me, look at me, look at me. And oh, by the way, did you look at me? And oh, look how awesome I am. And did you tell me how awesome I am? And oh, by the way, if you don't tell me how awesome I am,
then you're a horrible person.
Then you're a horrible person. So you need to really look at me and be, and really acknowledge how awesome I am.
Egocentric.
Yes, very egocentric. And if you don't, not only am I going to just not like you anymore, I'm going to throw you in a fiery pit of hell for all eternity, just because you stole that candy from that store.
Yeah.
Like, that made, as a young child, 6, 7 year old, it made 0 sense to me. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm down with that, God. And so as I got older, you know, and I was like, you're going to go to hell if you have sex before marriage and all that stuff. And then, you know, I did. I had sex before I got married. That's just what I did. And I really, it made a definite turn in my identity, like we talked about in that self-talk. I really thought at that point, I'm damned. There's no way I can be redeemed now.
But you chose it.
I did. But afterwards, I was like, wow, this is, I'm a bad person.
I'm in deep trouble.
I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
I'm tainted. I'm broken. I'm dirty. I'm all those things. And I carried that with me for a while.
I'm sure.
And what was interesting is that I also, oscillating at that frequency, invited a lot of negativity. And I was actually sexually assaulted by 2 men when I was 18. And it had nothing to do with what I was doing. This is what happened.
You just reinforced your own.
Yes.
If you're going to be damned, then you invited people that would want to further your damning.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
And then when I actually talked about that and told somebody about it, then they didn't believe me.
Oh.
And so then there was that whole thing.
That made it even worse.
Yes, it is. So anyway.
Now you're a liar.
Yes, now I'm a liar.
Oh,
yes.
God.
I'm a harlot liar now.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, so moving through all that. And so when I got to about 19, I was ready to, strip it all away, be reborn. I want to get rid of all this, So I went and was actually baptized in the Church of Christ. I voluntarily went and did that.
Because baptism represents cleanness and innocence.
And being born into the family. Like I was outside the family.
Right. You were separated from God and humanity because of your horrible sin.
Yes.
Go right ahead with your lies.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
No, it's true though.
Go ahead.
Yes. So I went.
You came to get reborn.
I went to get reborn.
Which Pentecostal believe like that too. You have to be baptized in order to be saved.
Oh, Church of Christ definitely believes that, and so does my dad.
Oh, man.
So
that poor thief, I guess we'll never see him.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But also, and I would also talk to my dad and other people about the categorizing sin, because sin is sin as I believe it.
Right.
And
there's not abomination. It's just all.
It's all sin.
Right.
So me murdering somebody is the same sin as me stealing a piece of candy out of the store.
Which scripturally that's true, because all sin means is missing the mark.
Exactly.
So it's all the same.
It's all missing the mark. So there was a time before I went and got reborn that if
I missed it anyway. So
I missed it anyway. I'm just going to have me some fun,
Amen.
And I did. But then okay, this is really not who I am.
Right. It's about identity.
It's really not who I am. So, but when I went and got baptized and everything, then the first thing you do to mess up, I didn't screw that up too. I messed it up. So, going through all that. And so then right about this time when all that was going on, I was wrapping up a long-term relationship that a high school person that I actually was planning to marry. And that did not go well. And that was God just getting in front of that.
Protecting you.
Yes, protecting me. And then I met my husband, James, and it is a cute story how we met. So we were at U of H, and I think I've told this story before on the show, but I'll tell it again.
I don't think so.
I thought I did. Where we were taking an 8 a.m. chemistry lab. Who does that? crazy people do that. Or you're a freshman, that's the only time you get a chemistry lab that's required. So that's what happened. Anyway, we're in this chemistry lab, and I'm in there, and it's mostly all the big basketball players and football players in that class. And I would just go in there with my head down and I'm this little freshman. I don't know anybody here. I have no friends there at all. And this is like the first couple of weeks of this first semester in college.
Right.
And so I'm in there, and one day I'm packing up my stuff, and I see this note sticking out of my book. And I pull it out, and it's typed, and it's typed on, and it actually had, like, remember when you could take different parentheses and stuff and make pictures with them? You make L's and
on
M.
the dot.
Yeah. The dot matrix
you had to perforate the thing. Yeah.
Anyway, it was like that, and it was like this little sun with a smile and these like little sun rays, but it's all on this printer, And
so this was premeditated, clearly, and pre-thought of.
Oh yes, absolutely. And it was, smile, someone is thinking about you. And then it says, hi. I don't remember if it said my name is James, but he said, hi, I think you're cute, give me a call, or something like that, something to that. And the first thought, because I had been really beat up in that relationship before, and so I thought, oh, they put it in the wrong note. They put it in the wrong book. That was my very first thought. That was my thermostat was way down here, And I thought, wow, they put it in the wrong book, And I just, and I went out of there, and I thought maybe it was one of the big football players and thought somebody else in the class. Anyway, so I didn't think anything, and I had wrecked my car the week before that, had slick tires spun out and everything. So my dad was having to come get me from college, pick me up. And I got and my dad's funny. He's super funny, and he's a character.
He's a hoot.
And so I got in the car, and I said, somebody stuck this thing in my book. And I've always been very close to my dad, very, very close to my dad. And we actually shared a lot of telepathy, me and my dad. Anyway, but I said, somebody put this in my book. And he's like, oh, that guy's got notes all over campus. He's just sitting around waiting for somebody to call. And he just, so of course I didn't call. I did not call. I wouldn't have called anyway, but I definitely wouldn't call after that.
He did not want you to call this man.
He did not want me to call that man. And because he's operating how he would have called.
Right.
Because he was a player. My dad was absolutely a player.
Sure.
So Mr. Church of Christ man was a player.
Got it.
And all his conquests he talks about in the Navy, I never saw any conflict in him about how that's not a conflict, but he was actually exploring all that in the Navy, so it made sense of where he got, but anyway, he was a wild child. Anyway,
excuse me.
So of course I did not answer or call or anything. So the next week I went to school, and I cut my finger on a beaker, broke a beaker as a chemistry lab. And this is how long ago this was. Over 39 years ago. He was my husband was standing outside, standing outside the door in the hallway of the school, smoking a cigarette, standing there smoking a cigarette. And I walked out to go get another beaker from the supply closet.
Smoking in this school is what she means by this is how long ago it was.
Yeah, smoking inside the school.
Yeah.
And I was bleeding, and he goes, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I saw he smoking, so we
don't hang out with people that chew, smoke.
That's
or hang out with people
right.
who do.
That's right.
Whatever.
So I just knew I never would date a smoker.
Right.
I didn't enjoy the smell or any
Right.
of that, and I never smoked. So I just blew past him. I didn't even give him the time of day at all. And when I was walking back, because he was literally right by the door, and when I was walking back in, he goes, "Did you get my note?" And I said, "That was you?" And he goes, "Yeah, that was me. Did you get my note?" And I said, "Yeah, I got it." And we actually started talking, and we ended up blowing off the rest of the class and started walking all through the campus of U of H. And at the time, it's interesting, this is a little side story. At the time, they were building two towers called Moody Towers that were part of their hospitality industry. There were hotels or dorms at the time.
What year was this?
Oh God, that would have been 85, 86.
Because I went in 84.
Yeah, it was right around that time. But they were building. It had to have been 85 because it was the first. Yeah, it was 85.
Okay.
They were building that, and little did we know, 30 years later, we would be bringing our daughter to live in those dorms.
Wow.
But anyway, we walked right past it while they were building it. But anyway, we walked all through the campus, and we've pretty much been together ever since that. So
Okay. So how much time do we have? Oh, good. So you came from a religious, non-religious background.
oh yeah,
And then you came into a man who is smoking that is not your favorite, but humanity-wise, he showed an interest in you. You're young. He might have been handsome. What were your, and you liked communicating with him clearly, and you were used to communicate with a man because you were so close to your dad.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a far stretch to
No.
just have a conversation with
No.
somebody who was hanging out with you.
No.
How did it progress into him showing more than just an interest? And then also, how did you end up marrying? And is he of a Church of Christer?
Oh no. So
I already know, but
yeah.
I'm segueing.
No,
We got about 8 minutes, so we're going to rock this out.
Yeah. So no, he was raised Muslim.
And did you know he was when you met him smoking?
No, I did not.
Is smoking common for a Muslim man?
I don't know. I guess probably, yeah.
I was just thinking maybe he was a private rebel just like you were.
Yeah, I think his dad and mom both smoked at the time or before that, but no, he looked he was not the typical guy I was attracted to. I was usually blonde hair, blue-eyed kind of guy. He was dark haired, dark-eyed, more olive complected skin, but he certainly doesn't look Arab if you look at him. He doesn't
now either.
He might look maybe Italian, maybe, but really, because his mom's American, his dad is Arab. His dad's from Libya, and his mom's from Oklahoma. So there's that mix. But it was funny because I didn't know any of this. I didn't know any, and I'm just, I just see people who they are. I don't care what color they are. I really don't care about any of that kind of stuff. So it didn't matter to me, or I didn't even think about it, to be honest. I did not entertain where he might be. To me, he just was from West Houston.
Yeah.
That's where he was from. And so one night, and again, this is how long ago this was, we had 2 phone lines in our house. So I had my own phone line at that time. And we would talk on the phone all the time. That's how we kind of courted each other, because he lived on the other side of Houston, which was a long ways away. And we would meet at school, but it was a long drive to see each other. And his sister gets on the phone because they have one phone line for 5 kids. And he was on the phone with me, and his sister gets on the other phone. These are phone lines that are connected.
Back in the day,
And she gets on the phone and she starts speaking to him in Arabic, like basically saying, "Get off the phone. It's my turn." And he's yelling back at her in Arabic, and I'm just listening. It's like,
what language is this?
What the heck are y'all saying?
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
And so when she hung up, I go, "What were you just saying? Like, what language was that?" It wasn't Spanish. I knew it wasn't Spanish. And that's when he told me it was Arabic and that he was Libyan. And the reason that he was so tight-lipped about all that, because this was in the mid-'80s. We were bombing the crap out of Libya at the time, and everybody hated Gaddafi. And he was, they had just escaped the country 3 years before that. So he was very afraid. And I would say...
And wise.
Yes. And I would say for the first 10, 15 years of our marriage, if you asked him where he was from, he would always say North Africa. Because he could count on ignorant Americans not knowing any kind of geography and not knowing that North Africa is Libya. They just don't know. So for a long time, he pushed that part of his heritage away.
Okay. So So here you are, you're religious, non-religious, and you meet a man of a very opposite faith, at least the way it looks like. when did your dad come into play? How did he meet him? How did that work out?
So we met. I just brought him over. And
Sure.
After we had been dating
Your
a little
parents
bit.
seem very loving today, but
They
they
are.
were still religious, even though.
No,
How did that work out?
They were always very loving back
Yeah.
then too. But my dad's also a jokester, and one of the ways my dad would vet any guy I was dating is he'd give him a job.
Oh, I love it.
And he goes, you can tell a lot about somebody,
Ethics.
how they work.
Work ethic,
And so he didn't give him a job. He didn't employ him.
Right.
But he took on a project with him. He had a truck.
They got to get to know each other.
And they got to get to know each other. And he really loved James. He
That's
really
awesome.
did. He loved James. He likes James better than me. I can tell you that. So he really is like his son now.
That's precious.
It is. And James has treated him like his own father. He really has.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, because he was Arab, because it was a big thing at the time and everything, my dad's name for him, and my dad will make funny names for you, and it's endearing, but some people could be offended by it. He doesn't care because of where his heart is when he says it. But he called him a spear chunker for the first, I would say, 10 years of our marriage. and it was funny, but and James thought it was funny too, but anyway, it was.
When did y'all meet his parents?
I met his mom and dad. I remember him taking me over there to meet them, and it was interesting.
Did they wear the common Muslim clothing?
No. His dad was very, very, very Muslim, and the rest of the family were, they were all very kind people, but his dad.
They'd also gone through some trauma.
Yeah, we only have 2 minutes. So his dad did not want him to be dating an infidel, which is what I was.
That would, I can see that.
Yeah. So the first couple of years, that man didn't even speak to me, hardly. And I would come and talk to him, like, to his face. And
that's because you're daddy.
And I was like, at some point, and I even said this to him, I said, his name is Salah, which I named my son after, so we loved each other at the end. I said, Salah, one day you're going to feel ridiculous not talking directly to me at some point. And it became, before he died, I was one of his favorite people on the planet. So it was we built a beautiful life together.
Relationship.
I love his family. His siblings are my siblings. It's been just a blessing.
That's precious. Really. So we thank you for joining us, and we bless you, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining Your New Day with Donna Reiners and Dr. Cami Owen. We look forward to seeing you next time. Remember, we solve all the world's problems, or maybe just one, and maybe it's yours. Until soon.